Dear students, I am Anagha Kulkarni, ENTC Department, PICT College. Over here, we are supposed to discuss the Unit 5 of subject BCS, which is a satellite subsystem. We already know that maintaining a microwave communication system in orbit in space is not a simple problem. The communication satellites are very complex, extremely expensive to purchase, and also expensive to launch. A typical large geostationary satellite is estimated to cost around $125 million on station. The cost of satellite and launch are increased by the need to dedicate the Earth station to the monitoring and control of the satellite at a cost of several $1 million per year. The revenue to pay these costs is obtained by selling the communication capacity of the satellite to users, either by way of leasing the circuits or transponder or by charging for circuit use, as in international telephone and data transmission calls. Communication satellites are usually designed to have a typical operating lifetime of 10 to 15 years. The operator of the system hopes to recover the initial and operating cost well. Satellite Communication by Timothy Pratt and Satellite Communication by Dennis Roddy. Over here, we are going to use the chapter 3 of Timothy Pratt that will explain the satellite subsystems. Satellite subsystems are having a part of attitude and control system, telemetry tracking and command and monitoring system, that is also known as TTCM, power system, communication subsystem, satellite antenna. Along with that, what are the problems that are facing for the equipment reliability and qualification that has to be discussed? Attitude and Control Orbit Control System AOCS. Tracking system, that means telemetry tracking command and monitoring TTCM. These systems are partly on the satellite and partly on the controlling earth station. The telemetry system sends the data derived from the many sensors of the satellite, which monitors the satellite health via a telemetry link and controlling the earth station. The tracking system is located at the earth station and provides the information on the range and elevation and azimuth angle of the satellite. The measurements of these all parameters permits a computation of orbital elements for which changes in the orbit and satellite and can be detected. Based on the telemetry data received from the satellite and orbital data obtained from the tracking system, the control system is used to correct the position and altitude of the satellite. Power systems are related with the derive their electrical power from the solar cells. The power is used to communication system mainly for the transmitters and also all by the electrical system of satellite. They can be termed as housekeeping since the subsystem derive a support of the communication system. Communication subsystems. The communication subsystems is a major component of a communication satellite and a remainder of the satellite is that they solely support it. All are composed of one and more antennas which receive and transmit over a wide bandwidth at a microfrequencies and a set of receivers and transmitters that amplify and retransmit the incoming signal. The receiver transmitter units, also known as the transponders. These are two types of transponder in use of satellite and a linear or a bent pipe transponder that has amplified and received a signal retransmits it at a different, usually lower frequencies, and a baseband processing transponders, which is used only in the digital signals that converts the received signal to baseband, process it, and retransmit the digital signal. Satellite antennas. Although there are various forms of a complete communication system, they are considered separately from the transponder. On large geo satellite, the antenna systems are very complex and produce beams with a shape carefully tailored to match the areas of the Earth's surface served by the satellite. Most satellite antennas are designed to operate in a single frequency band, for example, C band and Ku band. A satellite which uses a multiple frequency band usually has a 4 or more antennas. There is one more thermal control system that regulates The temperature inside a satellite. Figure that is showing a view of spinner satellite based on a Boeing Intelsat 4A. You can see that there are so many components that are used and that are placed on a satellite. Attitude and Orbit Control System AOCS. The attitude and orbit of a satellite must be controlled so that the satellite's antenna point towards the earth and so that user knows where in the sky to look for a satellite. This is particularly important for GEO satellites since the earth station antennas that are used with GEO satellite are normally fixed and movement of a satellite away from the appointed position in the sky that will cause a loss of signal. There are several forces acting on the an orbiting satellite that tend to change its altitude and orbit. The most important are the gravitational fields of a sun and moon, irregularities in the Earth's gravitational field, solar pressure from the sun, and variations in the Earth magnetic field. Solar pressure acting on the satellite solar cells and antennas and the Earth's magnetic field, generating eddy currents in the satellite metallic structure as it travels through the magnetic field, tend to cause a rotation of a satellite body. Careful design of a structure can minimize this effect, but the orbit period of the satellite makes many of the effects cyclic, which can cause a wobble in the satellite. The altitude control system must damp out rotation and counter any rotational torque or moment. The presence of gravitational field from the sun and the moon cause the orbit of the GEO satellite to change with time. The presence of the gravitational field from the sun and the moon cause the orbit of the GEO satellite to change with time. At orbit altitude, the moon's gravitational force is about twice as strong as the sun's. The moon's orbit is inclined to the equatorial plane by approximately 5 degrees, which creates a force on a satellite with a component that is normal to the satellite's orbit. The plane of the Earth's rotation around the Sun is inclined by 23 degrees to the Earth's equatorial plane. There is a net gravitational pull on the satellite that tends to change the incline of the satellite's orbit, pulling it away from the Earth's equatorial plane at an initial rate of approximately 0.86 degrees per year. The orbital control system of the satellite must be able to move the satellite back into the equatorial plane before the orbital inclination becomes excessive. LEO satellites are less affected by the gravitational fields of the Sun and Moon, since they are much closer to the Earth than the GEO satellite. The Earth's gravity is much stronger and pull of the Earth, Sun and Moon are proportionately weaker. The Earth is not quite a perfect sphere. At the equator, there is a bulges of around 65 meters at longitudes 162 east and 348 east, with the result that the satellite is accelerated towards one of the two stable points in the GEO orbit at longitude 75 east and 252 east, as shown in the figure 3.2. To maintain the accurate station keeping, and the satellite must periodically accelerated in the opposite direction to the forces acting on it. This is done by the sequence of station keeping maneuvers using small rocket motors, sometimes called as the gas jets or thrusters, that can be controlled from the Earth via the PTCM system. Attitude control system. There are two ways to make a stable satellite stable in orbit when it weightless. The body of the satellite can be rotated typically at the rate between the 30 to 100 rpm to create a gyroscopic force that provides a stability of the spin axis and keep it pointing in the same direction. Some satellites are known as spinners. The popular UJS 376 satellite is an example of a spinner design. Alternatively, the satellite can be stabilized by one or more momentum wheels. This is known as a three-axis stabilized satellite, of which the UJ 701 series is an example. The momentum wheel is usually a solid metal disc driven by the electric motor. Either there must be a one momentum wheel for each of the three-axis satellite, or a single momentum wheel that can be mounted on gimbals and rotated to provide a rotational force about any of the three axes. Increasing the speed of the momentum wheel causes the satellite to precess in the opposite direction according to the principle of conservation of angular momentum. The figure shows the examples of both spinner and the three-axis design of satellite. The spinner design of satellite is typified by many satellites built by the U.S. Aircraft Corporation for domestic satellite communication system. As shown in the figure, the satellite consists of cylindrical drum covered in a solar cell that contains the power systems and the rocket motors. The communication system is mounted at the top of the drum, is driven by the electric motor in the opposite direction to the rotation of the satellite body and keep the antennas pointing towards the earth. Such satellites are called as a dispun. The satellite is spun up by operating small radial gadgets mounted on the periphery of the drum at an appropriate point in the launch phase. The dispin system is then brought into the operation so that the main TTCM antennas point toward the earth, and the main TTCM systems operates at 6 by 4 GHz on the Intelsat satellite with a 2 GHz backup system for use during the launch phase. There are two types of rocket motors used in a satellite. There are two types of rocket motors used in the satellite. The traditional bipropellant thrusters. They use a bipropellant use thruster. Operations are monomethyl hydroxine and nitrogen tetroxide. Although the standard hydroxine is still used in place of monomethyl hydroxine by some satellite manufacturers. The bipropellant and hypogallic, that is, ignite spontaneously on contact, and so do not need either a catalyst or a heater. By adjusting the flow of bipropellants, pulses of thrust can be generated at a correct time and in correct direction. The other one is the arc jet or the ion thrusters. The fuel that is stored in a GEO satellite is used for two purposes: to fire the apogee kick motor that injects the satellite into its final orbit, and to maintain the satellite in that orbit over its lifetime. If the launch is highly accurate, a minimum amount of fuel is used to attain the final orbit. If the launch is less accurate, more fuel must be used up to the maneuvering the satellite into the position, and that reduces the amount left for the station keeping. A new development in thrusters uses a high voltage sources to accelerate the ions to a very high velocity, thus producing the thrust, and the engine thrust is not large. But because of engine can be driven by a power from the solar cells, it saves a expendable fuel. Ion engines can also be used to slowly raise a GEO satellite from a transfer orbit to GEO orbit, although the process takes a months rather than the hours as in a conventional rocket engine. Arc jets and ion thrusters are mainly used for the north-south station keeping, which is where the greatest use of a fuel required for a station keeping maneuvers, and become operational on the UJ series of satellite vessels. Arc jets or the ion thrusters lack the total thrust required to move a satellite quickly. For example, the major longitudinal changes in position, but a small continuous thrust is adequate to maintain the north-south and east-west position keeping. In the three-axis stabilized satellite, one pair of gadgets is needed for each axis to provide a rotation in both the directions of pitch, roll, and yaw. An additional set of controls allowing only one jet on the given axis to be operated, provides for velocity increments in the xyz direction. When the motion is required along in a given axis, the appropriate gas jet is operated for specified period of time to achieve the desired velocity. The opposing gadget must be operated for the same length of time to stop the motion when the satellite reaches to its new position. Fuel is saved into the velocity of the satellite is kept small, but progress toward the destination is slow. Let us define a set of reference Cartesian axes x, r, y, r, and z are with the satellite at the origin. As shown in the figure, the ZR axis is directed toward the center of the Earth and in the plane of the satellite orbit. It is aligned along with the local vertical and satellite sub-satellite point. The XR axis is tangent to the orbital plane and lies in the orbital plane. The y-r axis is perpendicular to the orbital plane. For a satellite serving to the northern hemisphere, the direction of the XR and y-r axis are nominally east and south. Rotation about the XR and YR and ZR axis is defined as a roll about the XR axis, pitch about the YR axis, and yaw about the ZR axis is exactly the same way as in the aircraft or the ship traveling in the X direction. The satellite must be stabilized with respect to the reference axis to maintain accurate pointing of the satellite antenna beams. The axes XR, YR, and ZR are defined with respect to the location of a satellite. A second set of Cartesian axes X, Y, Z, as shown in the figure, define the orientations of satellite. Changes in the satellite's altitude causes the angles theta, phi, and gamma to vary as the XYZ axis move relative to the fixed reference axis XR, YR, ZR. The z-axis is usually directed toward a reference point on the Earth called as the z-axis intercept. The location of the z-axis intercept defines the pointing of the satellite antennas. The z-axis intercept point may be moved to repoint all the antenna beams by changing the attitude of the satellite with a attitude control system. In spinner type satellite, the axis of rotation is usually the y-axis, which is maintained close to the y-axis, perpendicular to the orbital plane. Pitch correction is required only on the spin antenna system can be obtained by varying the speed of the spin motor. Yaw and roll are controlled by pulsing the radially mounted jets at the appropriate instant as the body of the satellite rotates. Attitude control of the three-axis stabilized satellite requires an increase or decrease in the speed of the inertia wheel. If the constant torque exists about one axis of a satellite, the continual increase and decrease momentum wheel speed is necessary to maintain the correct attitude. When the upper and the lower speed limit of the wheel is reached, it must be unloaded by operating a pair of gadgets and simultaneously reducing and increasing the wheel speed. Closed loop control attitude is employed on the satellite to maintain the correct altitude. When a large and narrow beam antennas are used, the whole satellite may have be stabilized within a plus or minus zero point 0.1 degree on each axis. The reference for the attitude control system may be the outer edge of the Earth's disk, as observed with the infrared sensors, and the sun or one or more stars. Figure illustrates how the infrared sensor on the spinning body of the satellite can be used to control the pointing toward the Earth. Figure 3.6 shows a typical control system loop using a technique that is shown in the principle of north-south control of a spinner satellite used in infrared Earth sensor. The control system will be more complex for the three-axis stabilized satellite and may employ an onboard computer to process the sensor data and command the gadget and a momentum wheels. Orbital control system. Station keeping. A geostationary satellite is subjected to several forces that tend to accelerate it away from the required orbit. The most important for the geostationary satellite are the gravitational forces of the moon and the sun, which causes the inclination of the orbital plane. The non-spherical shape of the Earth around the equator, which causes the drift in the sub-satellite point. There are many other smaller forces that act on the satellite, causing the orbit to change. Accurate prediction of the satellite position a week or 2 weeks ahead requires a computer program with up to 24 parameters. Figure shows the inclined orbit plane close to the geostationary orbit, and for the orbit to truly geostationary, it must lie in the equatorial plane by the by the circular and have the correct altitude. The various forces acting on the satellite will steadily pull it onto the correct orbit. It is a function of the orbit control system to return it to the correct orbit. This cannot be done with momentum wheels since the linear acceleration is required. Gadget that can impact velocity changes along with the three reference axes of the satellite is required. If the orbit is not circular, a velocity increase or decrease will have to be made along with the orbit in the s direction. On a spinning satellite, this is achieved by pulsing the radial jets when they point along the x-axis. On the three-axis stabilized satellite, there will be usually be the two pairs of x-axis jets acting in the opposite direction, one pair of which will be operated for a predetermined length of time and provide the required velocity change. The orbit of a geostationary satellite remains approximately circular for long period of time and does not need frequent velocity corrections to maintain circularity. Altitude corrections are made by operating the z-axis gadgets. The inclination of the orbit of the satellite that starts out the geostationary orbit increases at an average rate of about 0.85 degree per year, with an initial rate of change of inclination for satellite in an equatorial orbit between the 0.75 degree to 0.94 degree per year. Most GEO satellites are specified to remain within a box of plus or minus zero point zero 0.05 degree, and so, in practice, corrections called in a north-south station keeping maneuver are made every 2 to 4 weeks to keep the error small. It has become normal to split the east-west and north-south manual so that the intervals of 2 weeks the east and west corrections are made first, then after 2 more weeks north-south corrections are made. If agates or the iron thrusters are used for a north-south station keeping maneuvers, these tend to operate almost continuously since their thrust levels are low when compared with the traditional liquid fuel engines. Low Earth orbit and medium Earth orbit satellites also need AOC systems to maintain the correct orbit and altitude for continuous communication. Because of much stronger gravitational force of the Earth in LEO orbit, attitude stabilization is often accomplished with a rigid gravity gradient boom. This is a long pole that points towards the center of the Earth, providing a damping of oscillations about the satellite z-axis by virtue of the difference in the gravitational field at the top of the pole and the bottom. Over here, I am sharing some video links that you can watch or visit the site so that you will understand some more parameters about the AOC.